Hi guys, I'm back again today, but today it's Kittens and Keeps. I want to talk a little bit more about my, adjusting the light a little because I look like I'm dead. That's much better, not as pale. I want to talk a little bit more about the role-playing aspect of my life. It's now the 13th, actually it was the 12th session of my Pathfinder Slumbering Tsar campaign yesterday. We finished the first 3 modules, so as I said in my previous video, I've changed the story. The party has now found Tsar, or so they thought. They thought that they had brought Tsar up from some place, some other dimension or whatever, but last night they found out that they have actually moved to a different plane, and they have now entered Tsar. And they have already encountered the giant that's standing on the pentagram plaza, as we call it, and they defeated him. I have to say, there are a couple of things that I have experienced recently. Number one, the adventure is not as deadly as they make it out to be if you have a druid with you. Our druid, he just, you know, he just bulldozes over everybody. He's got a giant ape with him as his pet, and this great ape is extremely, his name's Boo, is extremely powerful, and of course as soon as our Gavin turns into a dire tiger, most monsters are toast. I mean, there is this huge tar dragon that guards the entrance of Tsar, and according to the module, you know, you should be at least level 11 when you encounter him. Well, they managed to kill him at level 9, and they didn't break into a sweat. The giant, I let the giant awake straight away, not as it is intended in the module, that they kind of like walk around a little and then come back to the plaza, and then only then does the giant awake. But I let the giant awake immediately, and that was quite an interesting experience, because this giant has an aura of fear, which means that all animals cannot approach him. And that was quite interesting, because as soon as the animals that the druid has with him, that he uses for fighting as well, were out of the picture, the game became that much harder. So it's clear, if you have a really powerful druid that has, my druid has 3 different animals that he can use, and also he can turn himself into one, so usually turns himself into a dire tiger, then the adventure is quite easy to do. Like I said, I've adapted the story, and I've also decided not to play the whole I think it's 14 modules, because it took us 11 sessions to get through the first 3, so there is 11 more, and I'm just not going to do that, because yes, I like GMing, but I find GMing for a Pathfinder campaign is usually, oh, it's a dice fest for the GM, oh, and roll initiative some more, and oh, please roll initiative, and oh, we could all roll initiative now. There is, I mean, it is old school D&D adapted for Pathfinder. That's what Slumbering Tsar is. We knew that from the beginning, but it is quite a slog. So it's, I'm really looking forward to ending it, but I want to end it, not just, you know, stopping, but I want to bring it to a meaningful ending. So I have now changed a little bit of the story. So the 9 blackbirds that have flown away and that we all need to return in order for their home to return, I've basically decided to scatter them much more liberally around the city. So they've already found 3 in the first session that we played yesterday, and yesterday was quite a tense session because I abducted the druid. Well, the player of the druid wasn't in anyway, but so I basically abducted the druid. I've started to drive one of the players insane, one of the characters insane, the Oracle. And I've also turned one of the characters into an evil aligned character. So I've changed her alignment. So we'll see where that ends. I'm having a blast at the moment. I've, like I said, I've shown them that they are now in a different plane, and I have an idea of what I want to do with the story, because it's going to be slightly different, or maybe even very different from what the book says and what the book is about. So they found 3 of the statues, so they have to find 6 more. And I want to do it like that they find 3 in each session, so that we have 3 more sessions, 2 more sessions to go before the big, the big end game, if you will. They have been doing quite well, exploring the city. I've actually, really thrown out really hard monsters, and yesterday it was quite tense. And there was one monster that had, it was the stalker, the invisible stalker, that had arrows of greater slaying. And I basically took out 2 characters because the hit points, if you are, for example, an elf, in this particular instance, he lost 1 hit points in one go. And there was no way he could come back from that. So we had to actually resurrect him. We do have 1 character that can cast resurrection spells, so 2 characters died, and 1 more character was almost dead. So that was quite tense because the monsters this time around got a lot to do. In other news, I'm already planning, or my gaming group's already planning for our next games. We played 1 episode of Godsend. It was a one-shot which Kiran ran, which was really brilliant. I really loved it. I got to play a nerdy college girl who's the probably head of the chess club and maths club, and her special power is she can read minds, so it's telepathy. So that was a blast. We're also going to revisit Ashen Stars. Last year we were invited. Was it last year? I think it was. We were invited to do some play testing for Ashen Stars, our group, and my friend is actually now writing material for Ashen Stars, so we're very excited. I mean, he writes for a lot of RPGs, so he's very experienced, but now especially happy about this because Ashen Stars is a system that I know and that I've played, and it's really cool. So we're hoping to revisit this. So he's working on a couple of things that we can do there, and I'm also working on a new project. I want to run a new World of Darkness, Hunter the Vigil series of one-shots. So basically, I don't really want to do a chronicle. I'm not so sure that I like the system enough to do a campaign style thing, but I'm thinking I want to have a hunter cell in Philadelphia set, basically they're set up around an internet cafe. That's as far as I've gotten in terms of backstory. I've asked people to start thinking about character concepts. And I also printed off a couple. I bought a couple of the PDFs for the Hunter the Vigil RPG. So for example here, this is a printout. Well, now this is actually a huge printout. All of these papers are the Hunter the Vigil rulebook. So yeah, that'll teach me never to buy the PDF but to go for the book, because I don't know, I would probably have to get this bound if I find anybody who does binding. So I also printed off a couple of SAS for Hunter. This is Bad Night at Black Moon Farm, and I've also got Spearfinger. So that's probably going to be really good. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. I've never played New World of Darkness. I was playing with the thought of running a Changeling the Lost story, but I am not quite sure if I'm up for it, because Changeling the Lost is very dark, and it's, I'm not sure if that's really what I want to do. It can get quite dark, and I don't know if I want to spend my spare time on that topic of basically abuse and the results, which is basically what Changeling the Lost kind of refers to. So I want to go with Hunter the Vigil. I've also been listening a lot to the actual role-playing game podcast. There have been quite a lot of really good podcasts which I've been catching up on. Some of them are older, and they gave me some ideas for my Pathfinder campaign, some tropes that were in there that I really liked. I've also got, I also listened to a game that I would like to play with my group. So I'm not going to say in the podcast which one, in this video cast, which one that was, just in case somebody's looking at it and then says, okay, well, yeah, let's listen to it, and then it would give the game away. So yeah, this is what I'm looking at the moment. We have a lot going this year, a lot going on this year. I'm really looking forward to this. I can't wait for Ashen Stars, because there I'm a player, I'm not the GM, and I actually play a really evil person. A corporate type mass murderer who basically, in the name of the greater good, was sent to a planet to head a mining operation, because there was some really rare metals which they needed for the war effort. Those of you who know the backstory. And she was basically the person heading this up. And so she was in charge of it all, and the indigenous population was enslaved because they wouldn't trade with the corporation, they wouldn't trade with us. And so basically, as a result, we just enslaved them and made them work in the mines, and basically she worked them to death. So it's a little bit like the Cardassians in Deep Space Nine, for those of you who remember this series from the 90s. But I also wanted to explore this idea of somebody who is basically a bureaucratic person who is sent out there to do a job which she strongly believes is important to foster the common good in a war situation, to help everybody, and how she then perverts her good intentions and becomes this really cold-blooded, as we say in German, Schreibtischtäter. So basically the killer behind the office desk, and how she deals with this, and how, if you believe that what you're doing is right, and if you believe that you're doing it in the interest of the greater good, if you're doing it because you have been told to do it, a lot of the times when you look at war criminals, they just go, oh, well, I was told to do it. I was following orders. And that's what she would say. And that's what she does say. Well, I was following orders. I did what I had to do. And she obviously has no conscience. She has no problems reconciling what she has done with the fact that it's actually murder. It's mass murder. It's genocide. And she can live with that. And that's what I wanted to explore, because I always wanted to know, when then the war is over and you're taken out of this situation again and you're back into your normal life, what does that do to you? And over the course of this Ashen Star series that we played last year, she became more and more evil. So in the last episode, they have a stowaway, and there's a story around that person, blah, blah, blah. And this person basically tries to sell out the crew, and the crew manages to get out of the situation, and they survive and everything's fine, but they keep her prisoner. And my character actually is really pissed off. I mean, somebody was trying to kill her. Somebody was trying to kill her friends. So she just, at the end of it, she just goes into the holding area, into the holding cell where this NPC is sitting. You know, she's weak. She's no threat at all, and she just kills her and throws her out into space through an airlock, because that's what she would do. She is evil. She is uncompromising. She has not really come back from the brink. And that was it's a really interesting character to play. Because you don't, I mean, you know, it's fun in RPGs to explore things that you don't normally do. And I don't normally kill people. And it was quite interesting to explore this whole situation and to get into this mind frame of somebody. And in her case, she was not able to step back from the brink. She was not able to take up a normal life again. She is a violent, evil person. And she just, for her, it's a way of life. For her, violence is a way to deal with life and to deal with adversity. So she's not a diplomat. She's not a bureaucrat anymore. She is a violent person. And so I'm really looking forward to picking up where we left off there, and to play a couple of games there. I mean, for those of you who are interested in it, Ashen Stars is based on I think it's called Gumshoe is the system. And it's really easy. It's a D6 based system where you spend points that you put into certain abilities, and then so for example, if you have a puzzle to solve, or you know, you want to do a task, then you think about it. Okay, I have, let's say, 10 points in forensic accounting, and I think it's going to be quite difficult. So I say I'm going to spend 3 points. So my pool comes down to 7. I roll a d6, and let's say I roll 3. So I have an overall result of 6, and that should do the trick. If I don't spend, then I would have a 3, and I would probably not get anywhere. So you can spend, and you can, you can so influence the result in advance. You can't decide to spend after you roll. You have to decide to spend before you roll. And it's quite a neat system. It's very easy. I remember character generation was okay. But you also have to create, in Ashen Stars, you have to create a starship, a spaceship. And oh my God, I thought we were never going to finish. So that was the one thing that I didn't really enjoy, but it was quite cool because we had 2 guys and they were kind of like, oh yeah, we could put this into the ship, and then how about that? And I'm just like, you just do what you want. I'm the forensic accountant. I don't care about the ship, you know. I need a place where I can sleep, and I want it to be clean, and I want to have plenty of food. So yeah, but that was, you know, making the ship actually took us ages, but character creation, as far as I remember, was actually quite straightforward. So yeah, I'll keep you posted on what's happening. There will be a session for Pathfinder Slumbering Tsar next week. Then I'm off for a week, and then probably we'll finish in February sometime. And I'll let you know how that went. And then I will also let you know what I did with the story, because I don't want to give it away just now. Okay, so bye.